All right.
Hel- Hello, everyone. Welcome to what we are going to call the Gridiron Gazette. It's your hosts, Jeremy and Goku.
Let's go.
Welcome, welcome, Goku.
Hey, Jeremy, how's it going?
Good, good. Last couple years, I've been taking the Yahoo weekly like recap and preview and kind of putting our own spin on it and putting it in the WhatsApp chat. This year, I thought it would be a lot more fun to do something similar, but let's make it an audio version. So here is what we're going to be doing this year, assuming, we get everybody that's liking the feedback and we can keep finding times to record every week. Uh, so yeah, obviously off the top here, we have some stuff we'd like to look at to set up the season this year. We don't have any recaps clearly because we're drafting on Friday, but let's have a look at how last year went to start things out. What do you say? I
Yeah,
will
sounds good to me.
let's start. I will share my screen here and have a quick look at last year's standings as it loads. Last year we had we had the division split out, but at the bottom of the Bramley division, it was Ryan and Roberto. And at the bottom of the Springdale division, we had Greg and Pete. Roberto got the wooden spoon last year, 2-12. But you know, that's all right. Things will be better this year, Roberto, right?
Well,
Um,
he's already talking like it's going to be better, so can't blame the guy for trying.
It can't get worse. So I mean, the odds are he's safe in saying that. But last year we headed into the playoffs with myself and Evan getting the buys. You and Andrew, who's since left the league, in the quarterfinal where you took Andrew out, and Matt and Zach made his first playoff appearance last year. Matt took Zach out to head to the semifinal to meet up with his brother Evan in the Morrison Bowl, and Matt prevailed in that one. And in the Basic Pitches Bowl, I guess
Sure,
you
yeah, we can call it that.
you and I met up where I succumbed to your might in fantasy football. And yeah, you ended up taking Matt out by barely, not even a full point
Not
in a
even a full
very,
point
very tight game. But that was what, your fourth championship, if I'm remembering off the top of my head correctly?
in total. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So all-time leader. Um, so I guess you're looking to run it back. I'm looking
yep.
to not be in third place again. It feels like that third place game is sometimes like always where I end up.
The bane of
But
your existence, as it were.
yeah, exactly right. So um that's what happened last year. That's where we're at. That's where things ended. We had a fun time and we're going to head into the new season as we always do, fresh rosters, fresh draft order, all that kind of stuff. So um what we thought we'd do in the way of a preview this week, because there's not much to preview, is just have a quick look at the matchups just for fun. Maybe start the trash talking, all that kind of stuff. But week one, it's myself and Roberto facing off, Matt and Ryan facing off, and then Evan has our newcomer, Jatesh. Pete is facing off against Zach in what I'm going to call the nice guy bowl. Two of the nicest guys you could ever meet.
I've met Zach. He is not one of the nicest people you could ever meet. I've known him a long time, and that is not a factual statement.
Well, all right. I guess the debated name is the nice guy bowl then. Um, and Greg, and you get to face off against Greg to start off the season. So,
Well, I mean, with all the smack talking Greg's been doing and telling everyone that is anyone but Goku, he better start this out with a win because otherwise it's going to be a real downhill year for him.
absolutely, absolutely. Before we get into our draft order, we're going to leave that as the main event this evening. That's a little throwback or little nod to Zach there. Um, let's have a look at maybe the top 10-ish players based on ADP and yeah, where do you think people are going to land? Yeah, what kind of picks people you think are going to make? Obviously, we don't know the draft order yet, but and we will later, but going into it,
Yeah, I mean,
let's put it this way, Goku, you have pick number 10. Where are you leaning?
crying, is that an option?
Crying is an option,
All
absolutely.
right, yeah. So after I finish crying, pick number 10. I'm just looking at the ADP here. So like CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley, James Cook are kind of like your right around your number 10 slot, just assuming you get the last pick. But I mean, you kind of get helped out on the back end, so you get to pick first in the second round. So you got like who do we have around 12? So we got Jefferson, we got Ken Walker, Ashton Genty. There's some good picks in the second round, so you get bailed out a little bit, but I don't know. I'm hoping for the front end of the draft. I'm hoping for someone more on the top end, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. Okay. Let's go down to 9. We're probably looking at, I mean, if I'm at 9, I'm obviously looking at a bit of a hometown favorite there with Cook. What are you thinking at 9?
Nine's tough. I mean, like I'm looking through here. Like I feel like most of the studs, like the stud running backs, are going to be gone by 9. You know, Zach has made a career of living off Amon-Ra St. Brown around right around pick number 9, 8 or 9. So I
I
mean,
see.
can't hate that. This year I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is probably going to be around that like 8-9, 7-8-9 kind of range.
Sure, sure.
And then like I mentioned before, you have Lamb, you have Barkley. So anyone who wants to take one of those guys can be ahead of the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're looking at a similar kind of at least a lot of those names that you're mentioning for me would go into the 8 slot as well too. I don't know if you're looking to reach up to a, or I guess you're going to hope because you're not, I'm working backwards in my mind there, but you're going to hope maybe a Taylor is going to drop down or a McCaffrey at that point. But um,
Yeah, I mean Taylor and McCaffrey, I see them going probably in the 6 to 7 range, maybe the 5 if as early as 5. I don't know. I see them falling to that 7-8-9 or 8-9-10 rather range, but you never know. I mean, I'd be super happy getting Christian McCaffrey or Jonathan Taylor at 8, 9, or 10. And I think actually Evan took McCaffrey last year at I believe pick number 9 or pick number 10 if I recall correctly.
yeah, it was pretty late on. That's for sure. But wasn't there wasn't there early season injury concerns with him last year? Wasn't that the reason for that? I can't remember exactly, but that
It's
seems to
it's
be
tough to remember back to like the
yeah,
beginning of last year.
yeah, exactly.
I feel like there was some talk of him being like having some type of sprain, but I mean he played the entire season as far as I can recall. Maybe he missed a game here or there, but I think he
Hmm.
played the entire season and he was a great pick for Evan.
Yeah, I think McCaffrey ended up being a bit of a more constant with San Francisco, whereas the tight end whose name is escaping my mind right this second, the long hair tight end for the 49ers.
George Kittle.
Thank you. There it is. Um, ended up missing a good chunk of the season. And
Yeah, well, he was very on and off. Like he played like I think it was the first like 3 or 4 weeks. Then he got hurt. Then he was out for roughly half the season. Came back in like week 10, but then left in like the second round of the playoffs or something like that. Like the fantasy playoffs, I mean, sorry, not the real playoffs.
Not the real play. You mean the fantasy playoffs, not the real playoffs?
I mean, the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
What are we gonna call it?
Um, I guess, I mean, we've talked a bit about the middle there, but top top five, who are you looking at in like your top five if you're in that range as some options that, I
I
mean,
mean,
when
I've got a top four, and it's very easy for me at the top four.
okay,
It's Gibbs,
yeah,
it's Robinson,
yeah,
it's Chase, and it's
mhm,
Nakua.
yeah, okay.
And after that, I kind of don't care. I'm like, I want one of the top four picks. I don't really care where, but beyond that, I'm like, I'll figure it out after that because after those four, I really don't care, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, those four are, I think, yeah, if you're in the top five, any one of those four would be great. I think I kind of even had it nailed down to just Chase Robinson and Gibbs, but like as the top three, I think it's consensus too. But like, if you can
I
get
mean, if
one
you
of
give me
them,
four and you give me Puka Nakua, I'll be super happy.
yeah, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Something else I noticed while I was looking at some of the ADPs and all that kind of stuff, there really isn't a quarterback on that list until almost 30. And of course, I noticed it being Josh Allen.
Well, I think
But
Josh Allen's sitting a little bit earlier than 30, isn't he? Like the list I'm looking at puts him at 22,
22, 20.
21.5.
Right, right. I was thinking 30. I guess I was mixing up 30 and 20 in my mind. Um, but still, even at that, like that's
Late second round. I mean, that's
yeah,
21.5. That's or well, I guess in our league because it's only a 10-person league, that's early third round.
early third round. Yeah.
I don't hate that. I mean, you get to get a running back in the first round, you get to get like a wide receiver in the second, and then you get to like start out with a quarterback. That seems like a great way to start out your draft, Get
mhm.
one at every position, be very balanced across the board.
Yeah. Um, and something else that we should mention too is you're not taking up a spot dealing with a kicker anymore this year.
Oh yeah.
So that's not that where am I going to make my kicker pick type decision
I mean,
anymore.
if
You
you're
pick
making your kicker pack in the third round,
oh
then I'm gonna start
no.
calling you a taco.
Yeah, absolutely. But going back to the quarterbacks for a second there, they drop off pretty hard after Allen too with Jackson. I think he's 40
Yeah.
point, and Drake May is also in the 40s, but at the lower end of 48. Yeah, I feel like there's a crop of younger quarterbacks in the NFL right now that are kind of coming up, and um, I guess I'm surprised to see quarterbacks so low, but
I think that's generally kind of a statement on the position right now. I feel like you have a lot of quarterbacks, and it's like quarterbacks are a position you only need one of, right? So, we're in a 10-team league. So if you have 10 viable quarterbacks, like 10 quarterbacks you feel confident in starting,
mhm.
what's the difference between number one and number 10? It's usually not that many points.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Absolutely. And look,
Versus when you have to play a running back, you got to play two running backs plus possible flexes. So you're looking at something between 20 and 30 running backs off the board in a starting caliber system, meaning that what's the difference between running back 1 and running back 30 is drastically different.
yeah, yeah, it really is. If we go based on what we're looking at here, of course, one is Gibbs, and that's head and shoulders above everyone. But if you drop down to the 30th ranked running back, you're dropping down to 88. Like, that's a huge difference.
Well, also just look at the names like Jameer Gibbs versus Tony Pollard or Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah.
Like Jonathan Brooks hasn't done anything in the NFL. He's been hurt for 2 years. Tony Pollard has, he's had a season somewhere in there, but he hasn't
Mhm.
really done much outside of that 1 year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I feel like the difference between a Jameer Gibbs at number one and a Tony Pollard is significantly drastically more different than a Josh Allen and looking at number 10 here, Dak Prescott, who had a
Scott.
phenomenal year last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Even dropping down, as far as, well, look at this. Mahomes at 16 and Goff at 17. Like, yeah, there's some
And those guys
names
have
there still.
been like fantasy stars for a while. Like
Yeah.
Goff has had some usable weeks. Mahomes has been the MVP of the league for several years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is why I say,
Mm.
like, I don't know. I feel like taking a Josh Allen at the early third round is significantly more detrimental than, taking a running back or like a Jamar Chase at the wide receiver position early in round one
Yeah.
compared to like what you have 30 picks later or 30 wide receivers or 30 running backs later.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, Something else I wanted to ask you, um, just out of where do you stand, out of curiosity kind of thing. Um, how much stock do you put into the team that the player is on being a good team? Um, Obviously, fantasy football is about individual performances, right? There's a theory out there that, if the team's good, the player should be good, kind of thing, or better. How much do you put
Um,
into that? Yeah.
I've always been of the mindset that like you want to attack kind of the good teams, the offenses that you think will play well, or I will flip this around, the defenses that you think will play poorly.
Yeah.
Because so last year I was a big fan of George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I ended up with George Pickens in our league. But the reason I did that is because I knew Dallas's defense was going to be subpar. And I figured if you have a bad defense, you're going to have to throw to keep up in games. And I tend to look at it as a very simple equation where if my defense is bad and my team is trailing constantly, they're going to need to throw, which means that I want the wide receivers, I want the tight end, but I don't want the running backs. If my team has a great defense, I really want that running back because I know they're going to hand the ball to that guy 20 times a game. Like this year, for example, I absolutely love Kyron Williams. I think that he's going to be a great running back. I think that he is going to be the kind of guy that's going to get 20 to 25 touches. And I think that he's going to just get the ball a whole bunch, which is going to be a huge thing. You know, I
Hmm.
also like Puka Nakua, but with that being said, Puka Nakua is my number four player behind two running backs and a wide receiver. So I just think their team's going to be ahead too much. And if they don't have to throw, why would they?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, more clock eating, more. Yeah,
You want to eat
absolutely.
the clock, you want to rest everyone, you want to
Yeah,
make sure that you don't turn the ball over, right? A
yeah,
lot of the
absolutely.
time, people view the running back as a safe option.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Makes perfect sense to me. It's an interesting way to look at it for sure.
What
Well,
about you? Who are you? Are you looking at are you thinking the offense matters, the defense matters? What do you look at it?
well, when I was looking at this earlier today, preparing to kind of uh, basically talk to you today. One thing that stuck out to me was the amount of Cincinnati Bengal players that were on this list. Okay, in the higher tier or the higher ranking of each one of their positions. Talking about
Oh, yeah.
Burrow, talking about Brown, talking about Chase, and like that's where my mind started to go in terms of this. Now I know Burrow has just got a horrible record with injuries, and
Oh, yeah.
I think they took him out of the first preseason game because there was some injury concerns already. But that's kind of where my mind went on this, was to say like, hmm, Cincinnati probably looks pretty good if they can keep Burrow healthy and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I kind of flip-flop on that because if you've got the good quarterback, you think, eh, again, I guess it depends what kind of quarterback they are too. I'm going to contradict myself as I'm having this thought, but a Josh Allen can run the ball, a Jackson can run the ball. Um, if you have a quarterback that can throw, I guess I'm thinking more of a maybe Stafford, probably Mayfield, even though it feels still weird to me that I'm saying that about Baker Mayfield, that after all the Browns craziness that he went through early in his career. Um, I don't know. I flip back and forth is my more direct answer to your question. I understand where you're coming from. It makes perfect sense that, a team that is putting the offense on the field more often would like to eat up the clock, have the, you know, l- less of a percentage to be intercepted or even the pass not being completed, all that kind of stuff, and keep the game going so those running backs will get more touches. I don't know. I flip. That's my answer. My straight up, as you hear my mind explode here, is I flip.
Well, I
Um,
mean, I'll just point out that, like, you referenced the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, they've
mhm,
been historically bad on defense for the last 3 years. So,
mhm,
and here we are drafting Jamar Chase as the number one wide receiver, Chase Brown as the number, what, 9 running back.
mhm.
And one second here. T. Higgins
Burrows.
is the number 13 wide receiver. So you've got basically like Joe Burrow is the number 5 quarterback.
Yep.
You've got basically four of their biggest players, biggest positions at, the top 13 of their respective positions,
Hmm.
which is insane considering that there's four players from one team. So
Yeah.
I think it kind of talks to the point that if your defense is bad, you're going to need to win the game by offense, which means that for fantasy football, those are the players you want.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fair point. Absolutely. Well made. I can't argue. I'm not going to argue that. Well made. Oh man. And one more question before we get to our main event, our draft order. You're a New England fan, I'm a Buffalo fan, so we've got a little bit of our divisional rivalry thing going on there. But how do you feel about your team coming into this year?
Oh boy, not great. Not great.
Spoken like a Bills fan.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like New England got by with a bad schedule last year, but then
Mhm.
like, I kind of look at it glass half full where we also had a terrible receiving core, so kind of that mitigated the bad schedule. We have a much better receiving core now. I mean, they got AJ Brown, who's
Yep.
still like young enough that he can play. You improve the receiving core significantly. You got Travion Henderson year 2, so you got to love that.
Hmm.
And then, I think that maybe those two things offset. You got a better receiving core. You got more weapons for Drake May. Drake May is a year older.
Hmm.
Maybe they can repeat to some degree. Maybe they can't. I guess we'll find out.
For sure. We'll definitely find out.
What about
Absolutely.
you? How are you feeling about the Bills this year?
I've got all sorts of feelings about the Bills. Um, I think that the window if is closing now. Um,
I can definitely agree with that.
yeah, they have had cap issues the last couple of years. We've got a new head coach, and by the way, the new head coach is an internal promotion, so we're not even looking at bringing in a big name, somebody from the outside. If this is supposed to be the last shot at winning with this group in this window kind of thing, I just don't think that's the coaching hire that you want. I don't think it's as ambitious as it should be. Um, yeah, the issue has always been in this window is you've got Allen, who's great. It's great to have a franchise quarterback really for the first time in my lifetime. Like, I mean, yeah, okay, the early 90s Bills, but we're kids then, right? But um, Cook's great, a great running back, but we just don't have receivers. We just never have really. Um,
On that topic, what do you think about DJ Moore coming over to the Bills?
my first thought was, hey, all right, not bad, not a bad grab. He was doing all right in Chicago and all that. Why did Chicago get rid of him though? They're in a big upswing last
Yeah, but
year,
I mean, you look at the Chicago's roster, right? It's
Mhm.
they're oversaturated on receiver, and like
Sure,
DJ Moore is the oldest one, which means he's going to get paid the most. That's the way I look at it, at least. Like you look at, hey, DJ Moore is the most expensive of Luther Burden, Roma Doomsday, Colson Loveland, all on rookie deals. So
sure. But their rookie deals aren't up yet. Why wouldn't you just take the embarrassment of riches for another year or two while you can? You know what I mean?
at a certain
Um,
point, you just can't,
you
you
can't
don't
afford
have the
it. Yeah.
ability to like support all those guys. They like the ball can only go one place every play, right?
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true too. But
And
I
then you get a
guess
guy who's like, if he complain, I don't know what his personality is like, obviously, but
that's
if he's
yeah.
constantly complaining, if he's constantly demanding the ball, is that the guy you want in your locker room, kind of being a locker room cancer?
Well, and that's kind of where I was going to head with it next in terms of why is Chicago trading him? Is that the problem? Because we had that problem with Diggs too, right? In
Yeah, but
Buffalo.
here's the
And
thing: Allen had his best year of his career with Diggs.
absolutely he did. Absolutely he did. But
So if you can deal with one
they,
year of locker room cancer, I mean, was it not the year that Diggs was on the team that we got that amazing playoff game with the Kansas City Chiefs where it was just like trading touchdowns in the final 3 minutes?
yeah, it was. Yes, it was. Yeah.
That was the closest they've ever come to a Super Bowl. So
Well, in this window,
yeah,
I'm going to get
sure,
defensive. I mean, we made four Super Bowls, lost all four of them, but we made them.
that's fair. I will respect that. I will
But
argue that I think this team is better than that team, but let's not get into that.
yeah, though, I mean, that's one of those things where I to your point, I think that that's when you talk about comparing eras and stuff like that, I don't think it's fair to compare because these guys are 24/7, 365 training. Those guys back then would go, take their couple months off, smoke cigarettes, drink beer, not work out, and then they'd come back and play. And yeah, and the level of athlete now is just significantly better. So just based off of that alone, I think the 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 modern era, or however you want to say it, is it's always better.
I just feel like, you took it to that level with the Chiefs, who ended up going on to become the Super Bowl champions. And
Oh yeah, the
I will make the
Chiefs.
argument that they fairly handedly handled the competition in the Super Bowl, which means that, like, if Buffalo had been there, does Buffalo handle it? And, obviously we can't play well, this is what was going to happen if Buffalo had made it through.
Well,
But
we
I think that
can.
the way they played the Chiefs, you can kind of say, like, they probably would have handled business.
I think so. Of course I think so, though. I'm a Bills fan, but like, I
Well, I'm
think,
saying it as a New England fan. Like,
yeah,
I think they would have handled business. I think they would have gotten it done. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
view this team as a better team than the 90s Bills.
Well, this team also has had the unfortunate um luck, I guess, if you want to say that, of dealing with these Chiefs teams on their way through the playoffs with some regularity. So,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
then those 90s Bills teams probably, they didn't have a foil like that. They kind of ran through the playoffs every year, and then the first appearance shot themselves in the foot wide right, but after that they just didn't show up for those Super Bowl games. But yeah, that's decades ago now. So
Yeah.
um
Makes me feel old when you say it like that.
let's not count how many years ago the 90s, the early 90s were. Um let's choose our draft order.
Let's do it.
Uh,
I'm in.
we've let's pull this up right here. We've got the 100-yard dash. I've put together the list of teams. Everybody is in their pixelated form over here, representing Philly. Over here is Evan, Matt, and the Denver Broncos. We've got
Oh,
you.
just don't understand football, Matt.
We've got you in your New England get up. Put your Tesh in the Falcons uniform. Jess, I'm sorry, man. I don't know who your favorite team is. Zach's got our Buffalo Bills colors on. Roberto's got the New York Giants. Pete, you think I would know Pete's favorite team, but I actually don't. So I put him in the classic Miami colors. Just so that there's not two Buffalo guys, I chose my favorite NFC team, the Minnesota Vikings. Ryan in his Jets uniform, and Greg in his Indianapolis Colts uniform because he was a big Colts fan when Manning was still around. So
Oh, I thought that was a Dallas Cowboys thing. I was going to comment on how that's fitting for his playoff track record.
nice. So here's the deal. We're gonna enter this information in here. I've shuffled it up. I just randomly clicked a bunch of times, so I shuffled up the names 7 times. We are not going to do any weighted situation here because we don't um, draft based on last year's standings.
I'd I'd like to draft first. That would be nice.
Yeah, I bet. And I've played with the settings earlier, so we're going to do faster and a minimum of 2 yards. Otherwise, we're going to be here for like 10 minutes waiting for this to happen. And with that said, let's start the 100, the rush, the 100-yard dash. Here we go. Early lead for
Oh
Roberto.
yeah, Roberto's way out in front.
Pete.
Pete coming in.
Oh,
Oh, there goes a Tesh.
oh no. Oh no. Slow him down. The rookie can't get first. Evan crosses the line first with Pete second. Goku, you got third.
All right, I can live with third, I guess.
Zach's got fourth. Roberto's got fifth. Greg is still coming. There we
Greg
go.
finally gets there.
There, yeah. Jitesh in sixth, Matt seventh. I'm picking in eighth, Ryan ninth, and Greg in 10th. So there we go. Our draft order is set. Based on what we were talking about earlier, I'm assuming you're feeling good with third.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'm all for any of the top four. So I mean, I'm pretty content with those top four I listed off. So, here I am getting one of them.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. I'm not entirely thrilled with eighth, but what can you do? The football gods have spoken.
Well, I mean, like I said, we talked about this kind of thing on the back end. You get a lot better choices on your second round pick, in my
Absolutely.
opinion, at least. Like, I think if you want to start out like a wide receiver than a running back, I think that's a very viable strategy when you're picking late in the draft, or if you want to go running back, and then kind of volume receiver later on, whatever you feel like doing. But I like the second round picks early, obviously. I mean, I think that's how everyone is, but
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess we'll see what Evan and Pete do first and second, and we'll go from there. Um, just a friendly reminder to everyone. If you are able to join us, please do in person. We're gonna be at the Great Canadian Brew House. I guess this is becoming the tradition to host the draft there. We got a nice outdoor seat ready for us to go there. So 8 o'clock is the reservation. Draft starts at 9. Gives everybody time to kind of roll in, say their hellos, order a beer, get your laptop or tablet or whatever set up, and we'll start the draft at 9. But if you're not able to join us there, um, yeah, Yahoo chat will be open and we can trash talk there.
yeah, I mean, I'll take a little bit out of this year's winnings and buy a round of beers for everyone, and make it a fun time for everyone.
Well, there you go. If you're not coming because of that, or like, I don't know what you're doing. There you go. Goku's offering a free beer and you're not going to come. Come on. Well, with that, we'll close it out for tonight. We'll see hopefully almost everybody on Friday. And we'll be back when we have some actual rosters and some first week previews to look at. For
Looking
now,
forward to it.
absolutely. Thanks, Goku, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Talk to you later, Jer. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you Friday.